Number one, Merab Dvalishvili shares footage of pre-UFC 311 injury he hid from the commission. So if you haven't heard about this, um, he had a cut that required like 27 stitches, and he hid it from the commission when they're, kind of checking you out before to make sure you're good to go. How you hide that, I don't know. Now, the thing did close up about a week before the fight, and, but it's still tender going into the fight, and to still win the fight the way he did, it's unbelievable. Uh, Marab said, when asked, California has a very strict commission. The commission guy asked me to show him my shin, so I lifted up my leg pant to show him my shin. He kept talking and then asked to show my other leg, so I showed him my left leg again, and then he never knew about the cut. So Merab Dvalishvili hiding that from the commission, and that's phenomenal that he sustained an injury and was still uh, able to fight and fight the way he did. This was reported by MMA Junkie. So, again, he goes in there and he dominates the fight. And he said this on the Ariel Helwani show, by the way. That's where the quote came from. And, it's just amazing that he's able to still go in there and do what he did despite sustaining the injury. And he just, he got off to a slow start. But once you're in there, man, you're in there. It probably left his mind. And then from rounds 3 to round 5, he got one judge in the second round. But from rounds 3 to 5, it was a clean sweep. And therefore, he won by unanimous decision over a very good fighter in Umar Nurmagomedov. So that's the report there. It just makes the storyline even better for him to come away with a victory. Also pertaining to UFC 311, DC Daniel Cormier, who will be in a showdown with Chael Sonnen at the Ultimate Fighter this year. But he says after UFC 311, where he disagrees with Dana White, saying, I believe it still needs to be Sarukian in terms of Makhachev's next opponent for the lightweight title, because I believe that Sarukian, even though it's a rematch, even though we know Charles Oliveira is supposed to be next, I still feel like Sarukian's size, his abilities, his skill set could present the biggest problems for Islam Makhachev. Now, the trouble here for Dana White is going to be, and going back to the Merab injury, okay, Merab hides 27 stitches from the commission, still fights. Then you look at Arman Sarukian and it's like, listen, I have back problems, not big right now, but I broke my back years ago. And every now and then you'll bend over and not think about it or just do something and you'll tweak it. And it could really take you out. I mean, like a lower back injury, even just soreness in the muscles could just mess up the whole way you walk and move. I mean, you're totally limited. So I don't want to discount the injury to Sarukian, but when you see what Makhachev did taking the fight late, you see Merab had an injury and still stepped in and got the job done. These are warriors. And again, I don't want to discount Sarukian, but the trouble for Dana White is going to be, do I want to put my faith in this guy only for this to happen again? And that's a problem. So that's the biggest thing going against Sarukian, and Dana White, more or less, not to quote exactly, saying he's got to get back in line. I mean, the guy's got to get back in line. That's the bottom line. And if I'm Dana White, I say the same thing. You got this big fight in 24 hours before. The contender is going to step out in a main event on a pay-per-view card. That could derail everything. And imagine if Islam says, no, it's no good. It ended up being a benefit for the UFC, as it always is, because everyone's tuning in like, what if Renato Moicano can beat Islam? Although we all know how that fight was going to go. You don't know until you see it. So, yeah, I understand what DC is saying, but the bottom line is Dana White is not backtracking on his statements. That's for sure.